Hey guys, just me for now. Bob is on his way. He got out of the hearings, had a stop to make. Um, but he should be up here with us any moment. Um, so let's take this time to say hi to some people. Wow. So Amanda coming in hot right from the jump. Thank you for reporting. $10. Thank you. Joe Schmo is a new member. I don't know how Joe always seems to be a new member. I'm like, he seems like he's always a new member or a member or doing something. So thanks, Joe Schmo. Um, and sure we've got a lot of people in here that everybody is familiar with. Hopefully we'll get some new people in here as well. Um, Icy Cat says she's so grateful. Bob will be attending and to inform us on what the F is going on in Delphi. So I talked to Bob. It didn't seem like an all that dramatic day. Um, it sounds like maybe tomorrow we'll have some more interesting stuff, but he'll be here any moment to let us go. Um, let us know what was going on. Opposite things that went well today. Let's see. I'm giddy. Can't wait for Bob to come on. Probably as we expected. Defense got very little in and Slick all of his in. I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna have to see, but um, he should be here any second. Um, from what at least the discussion we had, there was no drama. No issues. Everything was normal course of business over there. Um, we've got Una in South Africa. Wow, she should be in bed, or he should be in bed. Sure there's a picture there, but it's just that I'm too old to see it. Um, no, Bob didn't forget food. Icy Cat, he had to get earplugs, I think, or earphones. Um, that's what he forgot. Promised me 5 minutes, so I'm gonna start texting him that he's taking too long. It's probably only been a minute, but anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Don't forget to like while we're waiting in the meantime to kind of get this started. Um, Dawn Burke, wow, gifted 10 Defense Diary podcast memberships. That is amazing. Thank you, Dawn. I think Dawn's one of those what Bob calls all the time, everyday giver, all the time giver. So thank you very much, Dawn. We appreciate that. And I'm sure those who got the membership will appreciate it as well. Um, and then I thought I was going to magically jump to the next because someone's helping in the background there. But Mia Bito also up. So we did both go to do it at the same time. Mia Bito gifted 5 Defense Diaries podcast memberships. Thank you so much, Mia. Another name I recognize is always giving. So thank you very much. We appreciate that. I'm gonna now say this name wrong. Tina Cellini became a YouTube member. Well, that is amazing. Thank you. If you haven't been here before, we're so happy to have you. And for those of you who do not know, obviously there are like 3 days of hearings going on. Finally, hearings in the Delphi matter, in the Richard Allen matter, up in Delphi, Indiana. Bob is out there, boots on the ground. He'll be there all 3 days. He'll be with us any moment to tell you guys everything about what happened today in court. And we will be doing this, for the next 3 days, getting all the info out to everyone. Sorry, I was reading this. I'm like, what, did somebody have a verdict in Benefield? But no, he's just didn't get his run done because he was paying attention to all right. Shiraz gifted 10 Defense Diary podcast memberships. Thank you so much. That is very generous of you. And I'm sure whoever got those memberships are super appreciative as well. Let's see if we've got any questions coming in or comments from some of our members. Let's see, we've got Be Just. So cool to see your Bob, that which is Bob, boots on the ground here today in Delphi, Bob. Huge fan of you and all praying for justice for both Rick and the victims' families. Listen to you guys every day on my 3-hour drive. Well, that is awesome. Thank you. Be Just. We appreciate that. Let's see. I wonder if Bob did get something to eat. He always should. Um, I don't know if he knew what time I was gonna set it. He says, you know, "Put up the the link for tonight," and I'm like, "What time?" But by then it was I think he had no phone. Um, Renee, I'm gonna go knock. Hello, Allie and chat. Looking forward to recapping with lovely and talented Matas. Thank you for that $5 and thank you for the comment. Um, we appreciate it. We really do. And yep, yep. Just gonna see how Bob promised 5 minutes. Christy Sharp says hello to everybody. Teresa, true justice for Abby and Libby, justice for Richard Allen. Hi, Teresa. Very, very true. Um, and Marilyn Richardson. So, do you think the prosecution delivered in the Benefield case? Well, I'm going to get off topic for those of you who don't know, and we'll get back on topic very quickly. That's another case that is pending where a wife is accused of murdering her husband, and she has asserted self defense, relying on battered women syndrome. I didn't get to see the closing because I've been working, and even when I would put it on to try and listen in the background, I'm paying attention elsewhere, but up until then, I honestly did not. I think that there is reasonable doubt, but I know how hard it is to convince a jury to or a juror to vote not guilty, so, I would suspect that it's gonna be a hung jury. I'd be surprised if they came back guilty, but not that surprised because people, it's just sort of ingrained into them that if someone's charged with something, they probably did it. And it's really hard to get people out of that mindset. But so I don't think that they delivered. And I think they set women back a lot just based on some of the questions that they asked on cross examination. Just asking questions that have no logical connection to what's going on, and make any domestic violence victim think, "Oh, wow, this is what I could be. This is what they're going to try to do to me." Say that if I ever smiled, I must not have been scared. If I ever went someplace in public and held myself out as happy with my husband, I must not be a victim. And that's just obviously not true. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, so all right. Rochelle, justice for all, the rock that holds all of this up, not to be messed with. Yep, exactly. I just saw a comment that I can't find now that said if I didn't see closings, and again, we're talking about that Benefield case, that I'm I'm gonna be outraged. So I'm gonna have to watch it as soon as I get all this work done. That the closings are gonna make me sick. Well, I wouldn't be surprised after what they've done, thus far. But Bob is going to be with us any minute to give all of you out there looking for an update on the Delphi matter, an update, tell you exactly what went down in court today. Um, he promised me 5 minutes, told me to start. We've been going, I don't know, 15. So, there's that. All right. So let's see if we've got any other questions or comments here. Um, I don't wanna lose a bunch of people talking about Benefield because there might be people in here that don't even know, but, you know, um, a defense attorney meow says everything about that prosecution was awful. Um, the rebuttal was just the prosecutor loudly making fun of Ashley. All right, people. So if you don't already know the case, now you're gonna at least want to go watch the openings and closings. Um, never trust a man's 5 minutes, dear. Yeah, right. I was like, should I push it back? He's like, no, no, I'll be in my room in 5 minutes. So um, let's see. Una coming in with, oh, here he comes. 35. I don't know what ZAR. Oh, I know my ZAR from South Africa ain't much, but I appreciate all you do so much. Hey, it's the thought of it is. Are you coming in, Jay, to tell us there's a verdict? The thought of it is. Are you coming in? I don't know if Jay's meaning to come in.
No, I wait. Do I have? Do you hear an echo?
I did before. I don't now.
No,
Oh, I do now.
you hear an echo?
I did before. I don't now. Yeah.
I was coming in just because I know, just to kind of help you out. I know you don't. Like, we're waiting for Bob here, so I figured I would hop on.
Oh, thanks, Jay. So you got a
Oh, I don't have a.
haircut.
And
Oh,
I was just gonna tell you, just to, we'll wait. I'll try to kill some time till Bob gets here. Bob will be here shortly, folks. I wanted to just break down what happened in the closings of the Benefield trial. Allie, you are gonna be so fucking mad when you watch them. Uh, the state was just like Cross, was like mocking and just an outrageous tone. And Allie, she literally on the rebuttal. So first it was, I don't know their names. So the blonde lady was first, right? She does the
right.
first part and does her mocking, her tone, has the tone. The second lady comes in, she mocks, she fakes cries. She goes, she's like, like she does that
No.
during
I
the
don't think they're allowed to do that. You're not
literally,
supposed to demean the well, I don't know, maybe because 'cause they're putting on they actually had to put on evidence, so maybe wow, so she fake cried in front of the jury?
yes, you need to. She was like, you need to check the credibility of the witness. Did you believe that? Like really? And it was like, um, did she
Oh,
have any tear? It was brutal. And then she goes, the domestic violence expert who was like I thought, a really good witness, a credible witness. She's like, that man has never seen a relationship he didn't think was a domestic violence relationship. Literally, word for word, she says that. And she goes, and Ashley Benefield was not a victim of domestic violence, and he was not in the wheel. Doug Benefield was the. Allie,
I don't know why she didn't just argue that she was abused, but there was no real, and present danger at that time.
yes, that would have been fine. Her and Allie, she's like walking. She really thinks she did it. Like she's walking back and forth. She's right in front of the jury, almost where you can't see her in the camera because she's so close to the jury. It was honestly, I'm still like I'm making videos about it, but like it was disgusting. And Shanna made a great point where we've seen Alex Murdoch, we've seen Charlie Adelson, we've seen some really fucking shitty people. And like Creighton Waters didn't come at fucking Murdoch like that when he was like, doing his thing. And Georgia Kaplan didn't come at Charlie Adelson like that. Like there's a way to present you don't think someone is credible without literally going, she was crying like uh, oh yeah, and she's like, oh, and yeah, good point, Chad. Oh, the alpha male thing, like that's a bad thing now. Allie, when you see it, you're gonna lose your mind. I'm
Now it's
still
making me wanna get off here right now and go watch it. Clearly, it's still got you worked up.
I'm still worked up about it, and don't worry, guys. Bob will be here any second now. Thank you for being here. He's been in the court all day, writing notes, which I assume were like better than my notes that I took during the closing.
Is that like the old school
Yes,
graffiti-esque?
yes, because I will say the defense is closing. He kept saying, "Look at your notes, look at your notes," and I said that if that
Hey.
was me, I'd be like, "Oh, I pretend like I was looking at my notes during I took during the trial, and this is what they would look like." But I see
Nice.
Bob is here, So
All right.
all right, Bob. Bob is going to be just as upset, by the way, when
He eventually
he
sees it.
watches that. So what's up, Bob? I will let you go. I wanted to jump on with Allie. I didn't want to leave her by
Love
herself.
you, man. Thank you for doing
I
that.
appreciate it, Jay. Thank you.
You
You're
got
the
it.
best, dude.
Last
Yeah,
time I
I'm
believe
gonna
Bob's
replay
5
crew
minutes.
tonight. What was going on?
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, Jay.
You're welcome.
Sorry, babe. I was
5 minutes.
had a lot of moving parts.
I know. I just could have let the people know, but it's
I
fine.
probably wouldn't have scheduled this for 5. That's
You
probably
didn't tell me.
Honey, it was a full day in court.
I know.
You left me very little time, but notwithstanding, so I'm sorry. Thankfully, Jay came on because I saw your panic calls. All right, I don't have any wasted. Like I've got to go on court TV in now 20 minutes, or 25 minutes.
Wait,
so a lot to cover in a short period. I've got to go on. It's from 6 to 7 Eastern. I told you this.
Right, you got 40 minutes.
Well, I got to get on early.
Okay.
Like they'll start Skyping me at 6:45. All right, so got there bright and early. And no, I'm not starving. I had a nice lunch, so
and you look so handsome.
I'm a little frantic because I had to go get earbuds because both girls took the earbuds and I need them for court TV. So I had some unexpected things pop up. So got there bright and early, got over to the courthouse around 6:15, something like that a.m. Got online. There was 15 or so people in there. No drama there. So if you guys were hoping for drama, that did not happen. No drama outside. Got into the courthouse. Hearings were supposed to start at 10 o'clock. Judge Go was delayed. If she was on 65 coming down for a way, I don't know if she was, but that was a nightmare last night. Like it took me an extra hour with Waze taking me off route because 65 is under construction. It's a nightmare. So anyway, she's an hour late. So it was supposed to start at 10. We don't get rolling until 11:05. She comes in, seems to be in a pretty good mood. They discuss what they're going to go through today, which is what they did go through. They were able to finish all 3 motions. First motion that they went through was the safekeeping order. The defense had filed a motion to vacate that. The second motion that they went through was the defense's motion to compel, and for sanctions. So, and then finally, the last motion of the day was the motion to dismiss. And that was based on the fact that, these Brad Holder interviews seem to be destroyed, but I'll get to it.
So let me ask you first with the safekeeping, how did Richard Allen look?
He looked better. He's able to make eye contact that seems meaningful. He certainly didn't look like a zombie. He's definitely put on some weight. He made good eye contact with his wife and his mother who were right there. For all, considering everything that's going on with him and where he's being held and being in solitary 23 hours a day, all those things being taken into consideration, he looked pretty good. So, Brad Rosie argues this motion. He gets up. It's a defense's motion, obviously. They start. Brad calls Sheriff Tony Liggett. He is the Carroll County Sheriff currently, and he called him to the stand, put him on. Essentially, he's the only guy who testifies. Rosie first establishes that the first time when he got put on this safekeeping order, that he was like Allen was not advised of it. Like his due process was violated. The sheriff had just hit somebody up and said, "Yo, we got to get this guy out of Carroll County. He's not safe here. I'm afraid he's going to get killed." Whatever their reasons were, he gets moved to Westville. Defense files the first one, the first motion to vacate the order of safekeeping. That was denied. That was back last summer, and I was there for that. It was a much longer hearing. They put on many more witnesses. I have to be honest that there wasn't a lot that has changed other than the fact that they have moved him from Westville down to Wabash. And Wabash from Rosie's office is about 200 miles. From Baldwin's office is about 2.5 hours. So that changed because they essentially put it on. Liggett testifies that, look, I don't really care where he's at. Like, I just want this dude to make it to trial. You know, like I don't care if he's in prison. I don't care if he's in a jail. I just know we can't handle him in Carroll County. He'd have to go to Gen Pop. We don't have the ability to be able to house him there. So Cass County, which was brought up the first time they brought this up, was still what they're focusing on, and that's where they'd like to move him. They put in an affidavit by the Cass County Sheriff Schneider, who said same thing he said before. We don't really want him, but we can take him. We can house him. He's a lot of extra work. Brad kind of questioned him in terms of this is in a situation with Richard Allen where they're concerned that he is going to threaten the health and safety of other inmates, and they're not necessarily concerned because he's being held in segregation or solitary that he's going to get injured. Did you say
that they would be worried if he wasn't, that he might injure somebody else?
No, no. What he's concerned with, so this is the questioning, and ultimately Liggett lands on, like, logistically, it's problematic for me. You know, like getting him transported, but then Rosie was able to get out that Indiana State Police have offered, give him an extra vehicle, give him an extra hand when they're transporting him to and from. And just, you know, I mean, Cass County is a stone's throw from Rosie's office and much closer to Baldwin's. You know, and I mean, the Sixth Amendment really does require that we be able to access our clients. 200 miles is insane.
Too far. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Like, no,
especially trying to prepare for trial,
which is set for October. You know, I mean, like, you don't have the ability to be able to waste 6 hours of a day driving, plus getting into a prison. It's a much different task getting into a prison than getting into a jail in terms of just the process of getting in. So,
in that motion, did you learn anything new?
No, there really wasn't anything new. There were no allegations of, further abuse or, any kind of issues with Allen. We didn't hear about, there was this talk a month and a half ago or so about Richard potentially trying to commit suicide. That was not brought up at all in any capacity. There was no mention of any further confessions. None of that stuff came up. This was kind of a nuts and bolts argument. It was basically like, look, this is why we need him moved. He's in Wabash. It's just not like we've gotten the ability to be able to house him here. We're housing him in Cass County for the 3 days of these hearings. Why can't we just keep him here? Let's keep him here like through trial, and then we're done. So McClellan then comes on and he says, look, we litigated this thing already. Like this, there's nothing new here. Where the only thing that was new is the fact that he was transferred from Westville to Wabash, which is a massive distance. And I felt that McClellan was very dismissive about the fact that, Brad was like sniveling about it being such a long drive, which I thought was
as if it doesn't have any merit.
Right. Like, and it does have merit. I mean, it's something that matters. I mean, his Sixth Amendment right to counsel and to prepare for trial is certainly being affected. Ultimately,
and just so people know, you just can't pick up the phone and like call your client in jail. Be like, I'm his lawyer. I need to talk to him now. I mean, it's not like that.
Right. Exactly. And ultimately, McClellan made the argument, which had some merit. The fact that the DOC probably has better facilities in terms of medical care, mental health care, because there's doctors on staff there all the time. Whereas at Cass, you got doctors that are only there 12 hours a day. So there's going to be downtime. If there are any emergencies, they may not be able to handle them.
Yeah. But however, in all the time he's been there since like the last round of shit, has he needed any medical care?
I mean, we don't know. Like I said, and I was never able to confirm whether or not he actually did try to commit suicide. That was something that was being leaked out there. I'm not going to speculate. I have no idea if that was true or not. And that wasn't brought up, so that was not, I would have thought if that would have been factual, that would have been something that they brought up, because somebody that is in that type of confinement, 23 hours a day, should not have the ability to be able to hang himself. So to
Right.
me, that would be problematic. That would be something that I would bring up, in this facility that's got, such a better capability of keeping him safe.
Right,
Seems like
or if
not
you're
so
the
much.
other side, you would have brought it up to say, "This is another reason why he needs extra special attention and to have medical care readily available to him," and they didn't
Right.
make that argument. Alright, what else you got?
So then they put in the affidavit of Cass County Sheriff Schroeder. That was entered in, admitted. Brad basically, Gull asked an interesting question. She says, she asked, well, does the statute itself allow for modification to transfer from a DOC, Department of Corrections, to a county jail? Rosie busted open the statute, read it, and she does. She can transfer from DOC to jail or jail to DOC. She's got the ability to do it. And he left it at that. She took it under advisement. A lot of people I saw when I tweeted it were like, oh, you want a judge taking something under advisement. Like, you don't want judges just ruling from the bench because it gives you the feeling that they haven't put any thought into it. So, like, I take no umbrage with the fact that she took this and every other motion under advisement.
And she
Because
asked a question that made it seem like she's contemplating whether she can do that.
Right, exactly. Or a way out of it.
Right, maybe was hoping to get
Depending on how you
other
look at it.
answer, right.
But just overall, you typically want a judge to be thoughtful. You want a judge to take it under advisement, to put some thought into it, to read pleadings. If there's exhibits, check them out. So, like, I'm always happy when a judge doesn't just rule from the bench, unless, of course, they're ruling in our favor and it's a snap judgment. Then I'm cool with it. But if it's a denial, I'm like, wow, you could have taken a minute. It would have been nice if you would have thought about it for a minute. So she took it under advisement. We moved on to the motion to compel, motion for sanctions. Essentially, this argument, and this was her name is not pronounced Auger, and the judge thankfully clarified that. Everybody has been calling her Auger. She's the new addition to the defense team. It's spelled Auger. It sounds like it's pronounced Aucher, so it's a nice, sounds French, very French name. So she handled the argument here on the motion to compel and the motion for sanctions. This centered around discovery. The defense has been claiming that, they got this 26 terabytes of data. It came in a hot mess, that nothing is like, all it is like you put it in and it's just folders with no explanation of what the
Or identifying
is. No, right.
organization.
It's numbers.
Wow.
So she was like, that's rough, and then there's been back and forth between the state and, like, I don't know how they received it from the cops. Cause remember the way that evidence comes in, you're getting it from law enforcement. I don't know in what form they got it from law enforcement. And this might be exactly how they got it from law enforcement. I don't know if
then they'd have a corresponding list that says 1 is this, 2 is
you
that.
would think,
three
and
is this.
that was what O'Shea asked for. She's like, look, like an index would have been nice. Like, that's, an index when you have 26 terabytes of shit, that would have been nice. I'm going to say it's O'Shea. Maybe it is O'Shea. I don't know. Whatever. Some version of that. If she pronounces my name right, I'll pronounce hers right. How about that? Ultimately, that it then moves into, she has some asks. So the sanctions, just so you guys are understanding, the sanctions that they're asking for is time limits, that anything that they've asked for and they say that they haven't received, that they receive them by a date certain, or in the event that they never received something, that they get it by a date certain, or moving forward, if they have anything new, that they get it within 7 days. So they just want some tighter time frames. Ultimately, McClellan once again, starts firing off. I sent an email, they're asking us to do their work for them. We have the exact same issue with the discovery. It looks the exact same for us. I don't know what they want us to do. It's like, problem with that concept is that they're the ones tendering it. They're the ones producing the discovery. I mean, I certainly don't think that Nick should be doing the work for them. However, don't hand over 26 terabytes of evidence that is almost unusable. I mean, like, the amount of time being wasted to open each and every single document just has to be incredibly time consuming. You know, when they don't have the time, neither side has the time. I mean, some discovery that was in some kind of form or fashion with an index, so you know what you're looking for and you could cross-reference it with a search, would be super helpful. I mean, luckily my wife did that for us when we got the Garcia stuff. She went in, created a spreadsheet. I mean, she's just a machine though. Like, they don't have Allison on that team. That's for sure. So ultimately, you know, like I said, Nick gets up, he argues, we're not going to do the work for him, produces a couple of exhibits that that shows that they've tendered and they've tried to help the defense and that there's been issues and that they've said, okay, well, here, we think this is what you're looking for. Here it is, you know, just to show that they're trying to work with them. They're not really trying to stonewall them. There's this report. Obviously, there's some things having to do with the geofencing. There's this Special Agent Cecil's report was provided late. There's a couple things that they were asking for. So McClellan kind of left it like, I don't know what they're asking for. Is there like an ask here? Like, what are they saying that we haven't turned over? And it really kind of sounded like at the end of the day that there wasn't a huge amount that they were missing. So,
and the judge didn't give any, I understand she was taking under advisement, but no, like, even, hey, in the meantime, can you guys work? If you have an index, give it to them. Like, she didn't make any sort of comments, no questions.
No, she didn't make any comments. She just listened to arguments. She sat mute pretty much the whole day and just let them go. So again, took it under advisement. Again, they're asking for dates certain for things to be turned over. After lunch, Nick came back and said, oh, I just went to kind of dig around. And, you know, there was a, let's see, she called it a Google, like kind of a Google dump of phone. Let's see, I want to find it. So they got a Cellubrite extraction from 2017. And then the 2019 Gray Key extraction, which I'm not sure. It sounds like they've been provided those at this point. I mean, their bigger argument was that everything got turned over 9 months after it was due initially, when the first date for discovery deadline was set. That they blew that by months and months and months. But this last thing, there was this. She called it a round 2 of Google search warrants.
Benefield back in court. Sorry, you got 10 minutes, babe. Go.
Okay. So she took that under advisement. So then what I thought was going to be the most interesting motion was argued by Andrew Baldwin. That was their motion to dismiss. This particular motion is really kind of dealing with the video from the first couple days that was destroyed. All those hours of video from all the people that they talked to initially was destroyed. The fact that they apparently are claiming that they never extracted Brad Holder's phone data. That was something that really bugged the hell out of them, to the extent where, you know, but it's a tough motion to win, like legally. Like, they have to show, number one, that it's material and that it's potentially helpful to the defense. And then once they establish that, once they meet that burden, then they have to go and meet the burden that that they did something untoward, that law enforcement either destroyed it or is withholding it purposefully, which is hard. You know, you're not going to get a cop on the stand, which was really kind of the basis of Andy's argument, in the sense that he's saying, look, no cop's going to get it up there and admitting to destroying evidence. That's not happening. So I have to try to prove it by circumstantial evidence. So what he did, he first called, he first put in a bunch of things of evidence. We didn't get to see some of them. They were a lot of the side-by-sides. It was side-by-sides of the girls in their state in which they were discovered, in terms of the posing and things like that. And then he was putting up Facebook posts of Brad Holder's to show that they were very similar in nature. That one of the stick formations that was found on one of the girls, that Brad Holder had posted a Facebook post that he had a tattoo of it on his, kind of in the crook of his thumb and index finger. And just, so they put in about 6 different exhibits, including an interview with Brad Holder, where he's talking about initially he had said, according to their memorialized written report, where that video was destroyed or taped over, where Holder denies ever meeting Abby. And then by the time he's getting deposed, he's saying that he met her twice, once at Patrick Westfall's house. And that was when they were supervising these little get-togethers between Logan, Holder, and Abby. But he's changed his tune. So at the time that it mattered most, on the 17th of February, days after the girls are discovered, he's claiming he never met her, never laid eyes on her, was never in her presence. By the time this dep took place in this year, his tune had changed, and he had admitted that he had in fact been in her presence twice, including at Patrick Westfall's house one of the times. So, and that deposition took place, I think, on May 2nd of 2024, the deposition of Brad Holder. Andy deposed him. They then called this Roland Purdy, who was another law enforcement officer. I believe he was, I didn't keep the note, but I think that he was Indiana State Police, but don't quote me on that one. He got on the stand. He talked about whatever he looked at with respect to Brad Holder. He didn't consider him to be a suspect because they had cleared Holder early. They had cleared him based on the fact that Holder had an alibi, in terms of at least the state's timeline as to when they were taken, as when they believe that the girls were killed, which is between 2:30 and 3:30.
But for all intents and purposes, we know that that's the period that they were taken.
Right. We know, that's what I kept at. I was, of course, losing my mind in there. I'm like, why won't Andy ask Holman? So he got Holman on the stand. We should probably come back. I kind of want to get into this one, and I don't really want to try to rush it in 5 minutes, but I'll keep going until.
No, why don't you answer any questions people have about the two right now? And
then I'll come back.
Stream.
Yeah. So do we have any questions?
Not really.
That are up.
I didn't say hi to Patsy, to Petty Mason, like that little play on names before.
I didn't see it. All right. Well, I'll just keep going.
Here we go. Here's one. Oh, wait.
Dr. Quintel testimony. Was it based on AB testimony or something else?
That's Benefield.
You guys are asking me Benefield questions. I didn't get to see the closings. I'm super bummed. All right. Tomorrow I could tell you these motions are going to get infinitely more interesting. Tomorrow they're going to be arguing 2 motions to suppress confessions. Brad's arguing both of those. I think they're going to be, and they're talking about taking a pretty good bulk of the day on these arguments. They're going to be very interesting. And I'm looking forward to those legal arguments. And then the third day is going to be kind of a combination of Judge Gull putting the defense's feet to the fire, saying, you need to show me that you can bring forth this third-party culprit defense. And it's coming in the form of a motion in limine by the state seeking to bar that defense. So that's going to be a war. We're going to get a lot of witnesses that are going to be very interesting. I thought that this motion dismiss was a golden opportunity for Baldwin to be able to cross-examine Jerry Holman, who Luttrell, the state's attorney, called on direct in order to rebut things. So yeah, see, they're already starting.
All right. So last question. Inquiring minds want to know: were you getting an evil stare?
I was not. No, like everything that those guys say is bullshit. I don't know how else to tell you guys.
We get it. We get it.
I mean,
they're irrelevant.
Whatever. I don't know what they are, but they try to do this shit, and then in all honesty, I don't pay them any mind. They can do whatever they want to do. They could say whatever they. I stand by everything that I say. I stand behind our content 100%. And if you don't watch our content, then you don't know what it is, because
Right.
Alice and I have said on repeat 1,000,000 times, constantly. I have no idea if Rick Allen's illness are guilty. What I do know is that his constitutional rights have been absolutely destroyed. That's it. And I don't know that they're going to be, I don't know if it's fixable at this
Right.
point. I mean, like,
All
I
right.
don't know. So, but all right, I think we will. I do want to go through some more of this. It was interesting. It wasn't quite the banger emotion I was hoping it was going to be.
I mean, you're
but it
also
was
going to be back tomorrow, so we could touch on it again
True,
tomorrow.
true. Yeah, because I might decide to eat. I'll let you all know. Either way, I'm 100% back tomorrow. I'm really excited about those motions that are going to be argued tomorrow. And I did take copious notes, so my hand really, really hurt. I almost filled up an entire.
I hope you got extra legal pads.
I did. I went to Target and scored a few. So
Okay, good, good. All right,
got
guys.
some
Well,
good
thanks
pens.
for joining us. We appreciate it.
We love you guys. We love you guys. Thanks for hanging. Sorry it was short, but ultimately, and just so you know that this was taken under advisement as well, and it was interesting. But like tomorrow, I'll definitely, if we don't come back tonight, I'll definitely go through this to begin with tomorrow before we dig into the motions to suppress, which are going to be interesting, which are going to be very interesting. They're trying to. This is the defense, and these are the first evidentiary hearings we've had in this case.
I know, it's
2+
crazy.
years.
All right, well, we will
exciting.
wait with bated breath. We know you got to go, so play that outro.
Okay.
Thanks,
We love
guys.
you guys. Thanks for hanging. Hey, make sure you share, subscribe, all the good shit. They're hounding me.
All right.
And check
Bye,
me out
all.
on Court TV. I'm
There
assuming
you
they're
go.
going to talk about Benefield. All right, ready? Bye.